up, YouTube? My name is Lexi. Welcome to my channel. You saw the thumbnail. You know why you're here.
You know why I'm here.
We are here to talk about Kendrick Lamar and that glorious Super Bowl performance last Sunday. I am so proud of Kendrick Lamar. I have so many thoughts. What a guy to allow a football game to be played in the middle of his concert. Like, come on, let's give it up for that, okay? No, but seriously, this performance was so culturally rich. It was so unapologetically black during Black History Month in front of MAGA. Like, I loved it.
I'm blacker than black, I'm blacker than black. Yo.
I love the fact that he was able to master the craft of storytelling. I love the concepts, the double entendres, the triple entendres, the quadruple entendres. Like, there's so many hidden messages and so many thought-provoking moments that happen in this performance. I love the fact that we are looking at an artist, not just a rapper. He's going to give you food for thought.
You know, make people listen, but also see and think a little.
Him being selected as the Super Bowl performer, I was a little nervous because I was just like, you know, is everybody kind of gonna get it? But at the end of the day, this is art and this is him, and this is what he is. This is an artist that is not going to do, he's not going to fall in line with what it is that you expect. You know, he's not going to do the traditional thing. He's going to do his own thing. He's going to do it his own way. A masterclass in the skill of authenticity. A masterclass in being yourself.
I have to be who I am authentically, and if, you know, the world can't accept that, then so be it. But who rocking with it, I'm going to put it all the way out there.
I can't even give it enough praise that it deserves. From the symbolism, from the textures, the layers, the context. The fact that he was the first headlining rapper, and it was because of his ability to perform. When it comes to like a rap artist, sometimes you go to a rap concert and like it's just the guys rapping and they're just walking back and forth, side to side or whatever. But this was a masterclass in performance, skill, vision, like directions, use of color, use of stage, use of concepts. Like, there's so many layers.
It takes a lot of creative individuals. I can't sit here and say it's all me.
Did you peep the man's breath control? The way that he was able to command the stage. This man was rapping top to front. You didn't hear a sense of a you didn't hear him stuttering. You didn't hear him mess up not one time. Didn't miss a beat anywhere. You know, like, his breath control told me that I need to be hitting cardio at least 4 times this week, okay? The song selections, academics thought he was doing something by leaking that list, but no, you can't stop greatness, okay? It was a masterclass of just pushing the envelope and really reshaping what certain things could look like, reshaping what a performance could look like, reshaping what a Super Bowl could look like. A Super Bowl usually is used for a lot of artists to revitalize their catalog, you know, the hits, the bops or whatever. But this man, he used it to promote a message. Because when you get a Kendrick Lamar is not going to give you something that doesn't mean anything. He's always about the significance of a moment. A masterclass in petty. Listen, I need to take notes on that, I need to take notes, because the way that I have never actually, I thought that I've disliked people, but no, if it's not Kendrick Lamar or dislike, it's really not serious. I loved it. I loved just how intentional everything was. I loved how thought out this was. I love the fact that the performance itself has inspired so many conversations. Oh, by the way, I'm over here ranting. Did you subscribe? If you like my vibe, do subscribe. Allow me to get into my analytical bag because I have a lot of thoughts. I was actually in the process of working on another video about music and like the change and what's being ushered in with Kendrick and Doechii and everything else like that. But the Super Bowl performance came and I started out just writing a few notes that I wanted to incorporate, but baby, why did the notes turn into a legal pad? Why did the notes turn into like pages of notes? Why is the notes double-sided? Why is the notes like, it's just there's so many things, and I just wanted to make sure I write it out so I don't forget anything while I'm doing this video. And even as I wrote everything out, I'm probably still gonna forget things, so I look forward to hearing your thoughts, what you thought about the performance. And if you didn't really love the performance, I hope if you watch this video then you'll come a little bit closer to my side. So there's gonna be a lot of concepts that I'm gonna be just talking about in this video, so I'm gonna have timestamps in the comments and I'm gonna have them in the description bar, so you know, skip ahead to whatever parts you might want to talk about. But anyway, if you like my vibe, do subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's let's get right on into the video. So before his performance on Sunday, he sat down with Apple Music and he was interviewed by Ebro and Nadeska, and they asked him, what could we expect from you for Sunday? And he said storytelling.
Storytelling through all my catalog and my history of music. And I've always had a passion about bringing that on whatever stage I'm on.
And two other concepts that he talked about within the interview were about authenticity and being a man that likes to just be present.
Being just locked into how I feel and the energy I have now, that's the LA energy for me. That's something that I want to carry over to New Orleans. And
always appreciative of the past, acknowledging the past, but being present in the moment. And subconsciously, I didn't know it at the time, but we were already getting clues in terms of what he was going to do. He was going to do a set that was current. I know that a lot of people have been upset because he didn't perform all right, but the thing about it is that, and I'll get into it later on in the video, but this performance was a lot bigger than just his hit records. And like I said, Kendrick Lamar is an artist where he's going to give you something that is thought-provoking.
Puts the culture on the forefront where it needs to be and not minimized to just a catchy song or verse. This is a true art form.
This was a themed show. If you wanted to get the hits and the bops, I suggest you go and get yourself a concert ticket, okay? I very much so am going to be in the building in the SoFi for May for my birthday, so I'm very excited to see that. I just want to talk briefly about the points that he made about authenticity. You know, to have an artist who's basically telling you, you know, like, to appreciate the fact that you are the only you that is walking around on the planet, and to really rock with yourself so tough.
Only one you. You're an amazing individual, unique. You're a miracle.
And believe in yourself, instill confidence in yourself. This man was over here talking about how he writes music to affirm not only himself, but to affirm other people. He feels that his gift has been with words and writing and artistry, and he's been able to emote the emotions that a lot of people have, or they can't necessarily always articulate that.
And I know that I have the tools necessary to communicate myself properly and effectively. I got to do it for them. They feel that way, but they cannot project it. When they hear somebody actually giving them affirmations, it allows them to speak more freely.
He wants his music to be used in order for people to gain confidence in themselves. Like, there were very cerebral answers that he was giving. Low key, you know, I'm a little envious of Whitney. Whitney gets to just have this man, and he is just there. He has children. He is fathering. Like, can you imagine if he could talk to the general public like that? Imagine what he says to her, what he's saying to his children, how he's affirming them, how he's building them up. Like, that is just so amazing to even think about. And now, in retrospect, after we've seen this performance, I'm like, I can appreciate the interview even more now. I was actually excited about the fact that we got an interview from Kendrick, because, you know, you don't hear from Kendrick outside of the context of music. Since the advent of social media, celebrities really have lost their mystique. It's brought them down to a level of, like, you're just like me and I could tear you down or I could uplift you. It's given a lot of power to society, and either a celebrity will thrive from that or they're going to just plummet to the ground. And I think the way that Kendrick carries himself, the fact that nobody, like, he's so enclosed, like, you don't see him unless he wants to be seen, you don't talk to him unless he wants to be talked to, that kind of energy is just so respected in and of itself. So before I even get into the game console that's on the field as we open up his Super Bowl performance, I want to draw attention to the fact that he started off the performance with the instrumental of Whacked Out Murals. Whacked Out Murals is the first song off of GNX, and basically that is the song that lets you know that, one, he is tapped in, he is hearing everything that everybody's saying about him, 2, he is going to attack it head on, 3, he is very much so an artist that is aware of the love and hate and the different, you know, points of views on him, and he says that there's no cure for it, because at the end of the day, Kendrick is going to be Kendrick. Kendrick is going to be who he is. All of the running themes that were in Whacked Out Murals, we're literally seeing them translate into this entire performance. We also have to keep in mind that that song is also full of affirmation. Staying focused, staying present, don't worry about anybody else. Like, this moment is yours, be joyful, be in that moment. And this moment was his. This moment was not for Lil Wayne. I dare y'all to come in this comment section and tell me that Lil Wayne would have put on half the performance that Kendrick put on. Weezy would have been wheezing the entire time. Like, let us be so for real. remembering to be a person of integrity, never losing who you are for the sake of being a rap artist, understanding that everybody is not gonna like you. That is something that Kendrick Lamar has had to deal with since he has come into this game. Either you're a fan of Kendrick's artistry and you're a fan of, you know, deciphering the hidden clues, the hidden messages, like all that stuff is really fun to you. For me, I'm a puzzle girl, I like jigsaws and stuff like that or whatever, but like either that is going to appeal to you, or you want more of just like you want to dance, or you just have kind of people that might be in the middle somewhere. Kendrick's gift is his ability to masterfully articulate truths, hard truths. Some truths that need to be said, truths that are uncomfortable, but the truth is the truth, and the truth is the light.
Lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Because he's the person that's going to make you look at it and hold a mirror to it and say, is this you? Not a lot of people want to accept the challenge of that deep thought, because sometimes being seen that way, or having a mirror put up to your face that way, and you seeing the reflection highlighting things that need to be fixed, that's a difficult truth for people to accept. We're in a society where mediocrity has been pedestalized, saluted, it's been okay, it's been elected into our office. A society where pretty much like if you have to hold the lens up to it, they're not going to be able to handle it because the reflection is just so ugly. So the first thing that we see for Kendrick Lamar's performance is the game console that's laid out on the field. So you're seeing the shapes, the square, the X, the triangle, the circle, and I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. And then immediately Uncle Sam pops up, Samuel L. Jackson. So, alright, I'm looking at it, I'm just like, okay, Uncle Sam is the personification of the American government. So from that moment, I look at the game console and I'm just like, okay, game console, we have American dream, the American experience, American life, but then I also was looking at the fact that Uncle Sam is a black man. So the fact that Uncle Sam is a black man, I feel like we're going to be diving into the black experience in America. We're going to be talking about, and it is Black History Month, and it is Kendrick Lamar. So of course we're going to be commenting on black culture within this performance. So that's already the head nod that I'm getting. But then also back to the shapes, Squid Games. Squid Games, a show that's centered around capitalism and the elites using humans as collateral damage for entertainment. Not only does it comment on the elites and the misuse of money and whatnot, but it also is a commentary based off of humans. How far will humans are willing to go, whether they're trying to obtain the money for out of desperation or just out of pure greed. How much are you willing to give up of yourself, your soul, your spirit, your values, your integrity? Like, how far are you willing to go? Are you willing to kill other people for it, die for it, etc., etc., to gain closeness or proximity to this money? Also, we're in an administration right now made up of elites. The richest of the rich who believe that they can just get into this office and just with a stroke of a pen change and dictate what is law and what is not. This administration, one of the agendas for them is to start to remove, you know, pieces of black history such as slavery and the way that our country has understood slavery and the way that our country, they're basically trying to eradicate America's most egregious sin. And the problem with that is that this entire country was built on the backs of slaves. You cannot remove it with the stroke of a brush or just by passing certain laws. Like, this country's history is very deeply rooted in slavery. Our ancestors' pain, suffering, lives, their legacy, like there's so much of them that is ingrained and stitched into the fabric of what makes America great or making America in general. And it was made, our ancestors built up this land for white supremacists to come in, claim it, monetize it, weaponize it against black people, and claim it for their glory. So back to Samuel L. Jackson. So Uncle Sam is over here. Like I said, he's the Uncle Sam, he's the house Negro. Seeing Sam in this role, another black man basically trying to police and subdue and train another black man in his performance and what he's doing and whatnot, that's also making social commentary on just as black people what our experience is. And it's also symbolic of code switching. The code switching that a lot of black Americans have to do on a daily basis just to survive, just to get out alive, because there's always a way that black people interact among ourselves, and then there's a way that black people interact among when they have to come into contact with other races. Like, you can't be your full, authentic, full self because it could be seen as threatening, violent, it could be seen as, you know, you're being loud, you're being obnoxious, you're being angry. Like, there's so many stereotypes that come into play. So because you have that duality that you had, that is a very like rooted thing in black culture and the black experience in America. Code switching in the way that black people are supposed to act, be palatable, be marketable. Don't be threatening, be easygoing, just do your job, do your talent, and go. Uncle Sam is also representative of an Uncle Tom. That person within black culture who was willing to sell out their comrades for whatever reason, be it money, be it like integrity, be it like whatever, but they are willing to sell out to keep the other people in line. They could be bought. They could be bought. They could be like, they lack integrity. So next we actually get to see Kendrick, and he's sitting on top of the GNX car. Another head nod to the album GNX. It was the cover art, and another like double entendre as well is also the car that he was brought home in as a baby. So it's kind of like an origin story about like, this is my humble beginning, this is where I started or whatever, and now this is where we are. The same GNX has traveled with me, and GNX now is part of my discography. Like, basically the GNX has stayed with him, and it has been a consistent motif throughout his entire life. So that was cool to see. Also, he's on this car and he's rapping this new song. The way I was calling it Tiramisu, okay, I didn't know what it was called. It's unreleased, but it's a really good song, so I can't wait for him to actually drop it. Some of the opening lines in the song are, "The energy only flows through us, and this time God is only favoring us." Okay, period. To me, the way that I interpreted that was just like, you know, as a black people, as a black culture, you know, black people are the culture. Our culture is revolutionary as is, and this time we're not going to be in chains, we're not going to be tied up, we're going to be exalted, we're going to be praised. Our essence just can't be contained right now. So after we see all these people hopping up out this car, looking like in a clown car, just hopping out the trunk, at the bottom, out the whatever, just hopping up out the seats, just hopping out of everywhere. We see Kendrick, and he says, you got the right time, but you got the wrong guy. When he says this, to me, how I interpreted that was just like, all right, he's going to deliver an experience, and Kendrick is going to be himself. Kendrick is going to take you on a journey. Kendrick is not just here to give you slaps. He's not here to just make you dance. He is here to deliver a message. He is not going to be like anything you have ever seen at a Super Bowl performance.
When people talk about rap, man, the conversations I hear, they think it's just rap and it's not an actual art form.
The performance didn't even like start yet, but at this point in time, like, there's so much thought and so much ideas that is going on all at once. Imagine being Kendrick Lamar on the biggest stage of the world and basically having to tell your dancers, having to tell your crew, having to tell everybody around right now, this moment is for a purpose, is for a meaning, but the crowd, whoever you're doing it in front of or whatever, they're not going to 100% get it. They're going to have to catch on a little bit later, you know, but you're going to still perform your heart out, because the people who it's for is going to be for, and the people who get it are going to get it. Imagine having to coach your entire team that way, to be in line with the vision that you have. So then he proceeds to give us Squabble Up. But in the middle of his performance of that, Uncle Sam comes out and is just like, no, 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 not like that. It's too ghetto, it's too this, it's too that. Can you play this game? Can you get in line? Can you make the Super Bowl performance what it is that we're actually looking for? Because we don't want all this ghetto crap on our TV screens right now. We want hits. We want to dance. When I hear music, it makes me dance. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to be conscious right now. So then he modulates the song over to Humble. And Humble is a more commercialized song. A song that gets you moving, it gets you dancing. Like, it's a good song, don't get me wrong, it's a bop. But it's a song where more people are more familiar with. Everybody's just like, okay, well that's acceptable. We know that song. That song makes us dance. First of all, there's two things. The dancers are all in red, white, and blue. And then as he's asking, can you play the game? And we go into Humble, you know, we're having the guys, they're bobbing their head, yes. Basically signifying, you know, compliance. And yes, I could play the game. Yes, I'll submit right now or whatever. Yes, I'll do what is expected of me as a Super Bowl performer. The way that he was able to say, okay, I want the dancers to arrange themselves as the American flag. And then he stood directly in the middle, symbolizing a divide. There's been a division within the culture, division between political views, the economic division, a division in beliefs. a division in mindsets. We could even use division in terms of his performance right now. Divide in terms of like, was this necessary? Is he the right performer? Was his message received? Divide on top of like, did you get it? Did you not get it? Are you open to having the conversation? Are you not open to having the conversation? Division within our evolution journey. Like, who wants to elevate with you and who does not? Who wants to stay stagnant and who wants to actually push the grain and go against everything that you know and become a better version of themselves? Does he deserve this because of this Drake beef or not? Are you team Drake? Are you team Kendrick? Like, there's just so many things that is being said with him just standing right here in this American flag. So we go into DNA after that, and after DNA he takes into a whole different like stage set, and the stage set turns into now a prison yard. So he's over here on this prison yard, and the prison yard is so symbolic of multiple things. I took it as commentary on like prison reform. I took it as commentary on mass incarceration, improperly being imprisoned, racism. Also, if you want to even get deeper than that, just the idea of people putting themselves in a box, staying within what is expected of you, staying within this small space that you have, and you cannot break free, you can't exceed, or you can't go beyond that point or whatever. So you're supposed to stay here in this line. And if you don't even want to use it as that, you could also use it as another double entendre for the music industry as well. Music is one of those things, I do consider it as a form of spell work. There's something about music that is able to subdue you. It's able to alter your moods. It has so many different effects. And the way that we have, as a society, looked at music and treated music and just really have watered down music to just be anybody could get in this game and do and say whatever. And as a society, we have not expected, or we keep on endorsing artists that are not pushing the envelope. Music is something that can either inspire you or tear you down. And there's so many deep messages in music, and some things that you're registering subconsciously, some things that you're registering like just as you are aware of them and whatnot. But there's so much power in music, and there's so much power in the things that you consume. When it comes to the type of music, the influence, the things that is saturated within Black community and whatnot, a lot of these things are detrimental. We could talk about Drake, but I mean, even if for women, we could use artists like Cardi B ushered in a slew of artists that literally changed the trajectory of how women view themselves. All of a sudden, in female rap, everything became BBL. My vagina is wetter than yours. Like, I am money, I have money, and I basically give my vagina away, and this guy pays for everything that I have and I own. This has literally been the subject matter of every song on the radio, and it's been saturated in mass. The thing is that there's nothing wrong with that if it's one or two, but there's been a saturation of that type of context of music. It influences the way that you look. That music has influenced fashion. That music has influenced the way that you perceive things. That music has influenced dating. That music has influenced so many other facets of our daily life, and it keeps you within a prison. It keeps you within a box. It keeps you stagnant. Believing in yourself enough to jump out the box, to do something different, to go against the grain, be different, be proud of your individuality, etc., etc. So that's what I took from the prison scene. Euphoria came on. And I know that everybody is just like, oh, it's the diss, and it's this, it's that, or whatever. But there's a theme that is going on here. And within the theme, on top of like when he starts to do Euphoria, there's like a thing on top. And remember, we're playing the game, you know? So in the game, it says warning. You're like, warning, you're getting out of line. This is too much. We're being a little bit more like, you know, we're moving around a whole lot or whatever. All these guys over here in their do-rags and their red, white, and blue. Like, this was the response song in the Drake thing. So this is the song that causes all of the commotion and everything else like that. You're now stepping into dangerous territory. And that also could be used as a double entendre again. We're stepping into dangerous territory. I may or may not play Not Like Us. So when you're in dangerous territory, you need to just kind of do what is necessary to get you back to safety. So let me pacify massa so I can continue going on with the game or whatever. So In the next part, we go to Man in the Garden, and he's changed up the rendition of it, but it's more of like a smooth, jazzy kind of like song, and I'm just like, but he's still affirming, you know, keep my essence contagious, etc., etc. These guys, and they're under the street lights. Remember, be home by the time your street lights come on, and a bunch of these guys are set up underneath the street light, and they're singing, and they're vibing, and they're harmonizing, and he's rapping over it. So it's smoother, it's nicer, it's not as rowdy, it's more calm. And then he's just like, so then Uncle Sam comes back again. He's just like, a cheat code. Okay. Because you kind of are complying because it's not as rowdy, but it's still not what we want to see. So deduct one life. A life. My lord. And we're still playing the game, yes. But I think like there's also a lot of like thought and mindfulness and in the syntax of that sentence. Deduct one life, deduct one body, coming from the American government. A government that sometimes has not looked out for black people or black interests in the best way.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. If you see a white family, it says they're looking for food.
Certain presidencies that don't do what they are supposed to do. Like, you know, we could even bring it back to Katrina and good old Kanye West.
George Bush doesn't care about black people. Please call
Michigan, like like all these like things that where the government failed fellow black people, mass incarceration, you know, like the drugs and drug infiltration, killing down or striking down our political leaders and whatnot. We still have George Zimmerman that's walking around free to this day. To this day, black people have suffered incredible injustices in this country, and they still don't get the just due that they deserve. So Man of the Garden is just full of affirmations, message music. You're not here to give affirmations. You're not here to instill faith and make people feel good about themselves. You're here to sing and dance. You're not playing the game properly. You're here trying to instill hope and build up other people. That's not what we're here. That's not what we're here giving you this opportunity to do. And as that relates to the music industry, you know, thought-provoking music, there's so many underground artists that don't even get a chance to break, or they don't become mainstream because they have so much context in their music. You might get a record and then all of a sudden we don't hear from them again. Like, and that's just what it is. Like, message music, it just does not last, and it keeps you stagnant. It keeps you within that prison, because if you get too much hope, if you get too inspired, if you get too whatever, then you're gonna want more. Uncle Sam coming out saying deduct one life. It's another commentary basically rooted in when you get too smart, when you get too out of line, when you get too enlightened about things, when you wake up too much, when you're no longer subdued, when you are no longer in that box. So the government will find a way to come around and subdue you and put you back under remission. And we could use examples that date back in history, so we could bring it back to the Tulsa riots, or even like what happened with Black Wall Street. So then, after Man in the Garden, he proceeds to give us Peekaboo. And for me, Peekaboo, what it's more so is symbolic of the fact that you cannot hide from certain things. You cannot hide from certain truths. And you can't hide from the reality of, you know, of consequences. So then we move into Kendrick having more fun. When Kendrick Lamar said, oh, I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue. I said, sir, the insertion of petty. He says no, he's not going to perform it, he's going to slow it down. So as he slows it down, he brings us into SZA. He brings us into Luther. Luther is one of my favorite songs. Like, it is just so beautiful. And the way that Kendrick and SZA's relationship has, like, the way that Kendrick and SZA have mastered artistry over their crafts, over the way that their voices are able to mesh and be blended, the way that he utilizes SZA's voice. SZA, don't even get me started on SZA. I love SZA, and I love the way that she sings. I love her voice. I love her tonality. Like, SZA is just so ethereal. I don't care about you conspiracy theories. She ate her performance up, okay? Also to add, when he's performing with SZA, remind you, like, he's in blue and she's in red, and all the dancers behind her are all the dancers behind them are in blue. So it's like, And it's Luther. Luther is a song about like love, progression. Like it's a love song at the end of the day. And I think that is just how he beautifully tied in that unity between the Bloods and Crips and, you know, gangs and whatnot. Like a callback to the Pop Out show. Like, it doesn't even have to be the gang stuff necessarily, but just the idea of bringing people together in unity, in love, etc, etc. Before I get into Serena Williams, because while I'm here at the women part, I want to talk about Serena Williams and just there's a couple of things that I kind of want to touch on when it comes to that. But Serena Williams and SZA, yes, they are Drake's exes. Yes, this is you know, a part of the beef and whatnot or whatever. And yes, they've sided with Kendrick. Okay, aside from those like basic talking points or whatever, it's just another commentary on women, on protecting black women, uplifting black women, because, you know, we have to also call back and remember that Serena Williams, she was crucified before in her like Wimbledon game, I believe, and she wasn't able to she got ridiculed for doing her crip walk back then. The both of them being the two women who were disparaged, or they weren't necessarily protected by Drake or whatever, he's basically uplifted them and has utilized their talents, utilized their skills. He has displayed the beauty of these women. We could even bring it back to Andrew Schultz, that whole debacle that happened over the summer with like Shits and Gigs with their podcasts and how they were disparaging black women, and Kendrick even gave a head nod to that and whacked out murals. He's not going to stand for the disrespect of black women. The way that he utilizes SZA and Serena, yes, I get it, it's the exes or whatever, but it's also just he wants them to know that they are necessary, they are beautiful, they're showcased, they are legends, they are wonderful. Even the way that he talks about SZA, like he says that he's honored to even be in her company, like honored to even utilize her talent and her gifts.
She always had it, man. She always had it, and I'm just honored to be next to a talent.
Imagine being around somebody that uplifts you like that. And just more commentary on just the idea of black women and black men and the unity that needs to be seen between us. You know, like right now we're in the midst of these stupid gender politics. We're in the midst of these stupid relationship conversations that aren't getting us anywhere. Like, there's so many things that is going on within the black community. He's showcasing the fact that magic happens when we love on each other, when we support each other, when we uplift each other, when we talk to each other lovingly, like when we do not disparage each other and we use each other for the best ways to progress the culture. That is how we bridge the gap and we bridge community with each other. SZA, she performs on the Triangle, and I don't know if this is just me overthinking or me just being a little bit too deep in this moment, but the Triangle, I feel like that had a lot to do with women and with women's reproduction, if you get where I'm going with that, the symbolism of that. It was SZA, a woman on this triangle, being empowered. Like, that's just kind of what I also was able to pick up in that moment. That transitions into All the Stars. All the Stars, also another one of my favorite songs. It's beautiful, and it's just like, I don't need your congratulations, I did this for me. Like, it's just another affirmation song. A double entendre as well. It's also part of Black Panther, black superhero, black Marvel character, Chadwick Boseman. Like, this was just a callback to, remember that feeling that we felt when Black Panther was coming out? Just everybody was all Wakanda forever. Like, just that installation again, that reminder of black pride or whatever. That's just where I go every single time I hear All the Stars. Then Uncle Sam comes back and he's just like, yes, this is what we want, you know, nice, slow, non-threatening. Then we finally get the moment that everybody has been waiting for. And I love that Kendrick actually left that song to be second to last. I know there was a lot of people that were just watching to see if he was going to do Not Like Us, but if you actually were really detailed and submersed into the story that was being painted, it was such a beautiful story, and I'm so glad that he put it there. So it's just like, you had to go through the story to actually get back to where Kendrick wanted to place you. I love the way that he just commanded and he controlled the narrative, controlled the pacing, controlled every aspect of this performance to lead you into the song that most people know him for. So he teases it a few ways. 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. We're still in theme. American government, broken promises that were made to the freed slaves. They tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. still just like, you know, you could cheat, you could lie, you could manipulate, but I am not to be stopped. I am going to be here and I am a force to be reckoned with. So then Not Like Us finally drops and it was phenomenal. And the production of Not Like Us, the way that it looked, the cuts, the movement, oh my god, the dancers, like it was so clean. The part that everybody has been talking about, my favorite part, child, Kendrick Lamar is a deviant, okay?
I hear you like a dog.
That was unnecessary. That was uncalled for. Why did you do that? Why did you do that to him? I'm sorry. That man said, "Hey Drake." That "Hey Drake" was vicious. Just a cerebral dude that's funny is nasty work. It just is, like, because you won't even see the jokes coming. That's the part. Not only were we sitting down here wondering about if he was gonna do the song, he did the song. The pedophile part, he did not say. I'm sure that we're probably trying to avoid some of these legalities and whatnot. And when it came to the infamous A minor, the entire stadium, the homes, everybody was screaming A minor. And the way that it sounded, the Grammys was child's play. It sounded crazy. Then we see Serena over here doing her crip walk on the side. I'm just like, yes, girl, looking amazing. This was just the most epically, beautifully black thing I have ever seen in my life. So then after that, we get the last segment, TV off. It's pretty self-explanatory how that goes. So we're at the end and he brings out mustard. So me and my sister, we in the house just yelling mustard. Like, me and my sisters over here yelling mustard all night or whatever. And it was just a vibe. It was a vibe. It was cool. And it was literally just turn his TV off and we get the subtext of that. But I want to go back to Not Like Us really quickly. Not Like Us, as it pertains to the theme, America. Not like us. Like, it's just, this song has become a cultural anthem. Like, it's bigger than Drake. It's bigger than the beef. It's a colloquialism at this point in time. The they that might not be part of the culture, the they that might not be able to resonate with you, the they that will sell you out, the they, like, they is just symbolic of so many things. Anything that doesn't represent you or is not symbolic to you, not authentic to you or whatever, all of those days, they not like us or whatever. You find your people, you stay with your crew, you stay locked in with your crew, and you make sure that, you know, everybody is lock in step with each other, because if we're all at the same pace, the same elevated rate or whatever, we're all going to be able to get out of the box. So that is just why I believe that that was a significance. Like, I hope that you were able to follow my, like, storytelling with why I feel like every song was placed where it was placed. And then TV off, you know, like I said, TV off was the end. But what I do want to talk about is the game over part that came up. So the game over up on top, we can use that for a few things. Game over, basically it symbolized encapsulation of freedom. And it's just like, I did it my way and I won. The game is over. I didn't have to do anything that was outside of myself and I still won. I still was able to be the champion of this moment. Like, it is still me in the victory lap, running my victory lap. And if you don't like it, turn your TV off. So, period. And that was the performance for Kendrick Lamar. So that is what I believe. So this is what I wanted to talk about, just in terms of like the commentary, the layers, the thickness, the richness, and whatnot. He is the first hip-hop solo performer to do this. And the first of anything is always going to be a treacherous road. But you know, this, and for this to be the first, like, this was a stunning, stellar performance. Sometimes I get sad for Kendrick a little bit, because imagine being an artist that's just so forward thinking, just somebody who is never understood in real time. Like, not that he's never understood in real time, but imagine you put your art out there and it takes people 2, 3, 4, 5 times to really analyze and really pick up all of the sentimental messages that you have laced in the whole thing. A lot of people crucify him because he doesn't come out all the time with, like, you know, these popcorn records and stuff like that. But in order for Kendrick to create art in order for Kendrick to keep his essence contagious, you know, like in order for Kendrick to actually produce quality bodies of work, you need time. You need time to rest, you need time to think, you need time to process, you need time to be inspired, you need time to actually formulate your message. This is why he can consistently deliver the same way. That is all that I have for my Super Bowl review. I absolutely love the show, and I am just so excited to go on the tour. Drop down in the comments. I am so looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Let me know if I was able to bring up different nuance ideas. All of you, all of the like hip hop discography channels, the ones that are able to break down these songs and really get all the messaging, like kudos to all of you. Like I really appreciate your artistry. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. Once again, if you like my vibe, do subscribe. Take care, and I hope to see you in the next video. Mwah!